DLC 16 is a DLC that me and others hoped would be potentially the final DLC for this game before we hopefully get an announcement for Xenoverse 3. And honestly, there wasn't really anything pointing to another DLC at this moment in time yet, or at least we thought so. But the homie Rechow actually brought something to light not only on Twitter, but he also made a video, which we're going to take a look at in this video right here, because he makes a lot of good points as to why we most likely could be seeing another DLC, or at the very least, another update in the future on Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 after DLC 16 does drop. Now, taking a look at the Twitter first and foremost, guys, you can see his Twitter right here. Be sure to give him a follow. His Twitter is linked down below in the description. But he says, I do not think that the next DLC will be Xenoverse 2's final update. Why? The second Super Fashion Contest. Check out the video in the reply tweet for more details. Just understand that there is a lot of speculation and conjecture in the video. Nothing is official yet. So this is something that I honestly completely forgot about and really wasn't even thinking about when I made that video talking about why I think DLC 16 could potentially be the final update and why I wanted it to be the final update at the same time. And again, it's not because I hate Xenoverse 2. I actually love Xenoverse 2 and just love the Xenoverse franchise, which is why I would love to finally get a new installment in the series in a Xenoverse 3. But again, I was not thinking about the Super Fashion Contest at all and how long it actually took for the initial loading screens from the first Super Fashion Contest to actually be distributed out to everybody, and they were distributed through an update, I believe, with the Dragon Ball The Breakers update that we got, I believe it was in October. But with that being said, let's check out the homie Rechow's video, because again, he makes a lot of good points in this video, and honestly, it really is making me feel like we most likely could be seeing at least another DLC, if not another update on Xenoverse 2 in the future. Now again, he says, disclaimer, this video contains is purely speculative. Nothing is certain until we get an official announcement from Bandai/Dimps. And again, that's pretty much how anything goes with any prediction or speculation. Always keep that in mind, guys. Even though there may be things that are pointing to something, or even if there are leaks, nothing is official until it is put out there by Bandai and Dimps for sure. But with that being said, let's take a look at this video. And again, he's not actually going to be talking in the video at all. It's just a bunch of text that he puts up on the screen as he has some Xenoverse 2 gameplay in the background. Now, he starts out by saying, some people seem to think that the second DBS Superhero DLC will be XV2's final update. In my opinion, this is not possible. There's one thing that everybody seems to be forgetting: the second Super Fashion Contest. And again, this is something that I literally completely forgot. There is just not enough time for this contest to conclude before the release of the next major update. Based on the flow of teasers and trailers we're getting for the next update, we'll probably see the next DLC release somewhere between May and March. Now, this is something that I've been saying basically since DLC 15 released. I thought we were going to see a quick turnaround in terms of release from 15 to 16, and said at earliest we would probably see it in March, and then latest probably April or May, which does seem like it's going to be accurate, because again, we just got stuff for Orange Piccolo. We'll probably get stuff for the next character, whether it's Beast Gohan or someone else who is going to be in this pack next month, and then the month after that we'll probably get some stuff on the next character, which potentially could be the last one, and then we'll see the release after that most likely. So again, like I said, March to April, Aprilish May is when we should expect the DLC to release for DLC 16. Now, he goes on to say, winners of the second Super Fashion Contest haven't even been selected yet. According to the official website, this will start after February 1st. Although there has been no official announcement, I think that is very likely that we will get another fashion show at Battle Hour 2023. BH 2023 is scheduled for March 4th through the 6th. Battle Hour 2022's fashion show was on February 19th, 2022. The winners of the first had their loading screens added to the game in update 1.18, which was on September 15th. Oh, okay, that was September 15th, not October. We can use all of these dates to estimate when the future winners of the second Super Fashion Contest will have their loading screens added. From the reveal of the winners of the first Super Fashion Contest, it took 208 days for the loading screens to be added. So let's just think about that really quick, guys. If it did take another 208 days after the winners are actually revealed and after the fashion contest happens, if that is going to happen at Battle Hour, which is kind of up in the air right now, since there has been no announcement of any other game being involved at Battle Hour in any way, shape, or form besides Legends, Fighters, and the Dragon Ball Super card game. But again, let's say that it does take place at Battle Hour. If it took another 208 days after that, we would be looking at somewhere between like September or October before we saw these loading screens on Xenoverse 2. And I would kind of find that weird for that to be the last form of content that is added to Xenoverse 2 in any way, shape, or form. Like, that is the last kind of update that would be added to the game, just some loading screens that are from the Super Fashion contest. Again, even though they are from this contest, it still would just feel weird for that to be the final form of content that Xenoverse 2 actually does get, right? Now, he goes on to say, oh wait, we already read this part. So let's continue the video once YouTube actually loads up. There we go. This may sound like a long time, but remember that making art takes time. There are 16 winners. Depending on how many artists are tasked with creating these loading screens, it could take quite a long time to finish them, which does make sense. It likely takes time to get the art approved by higher-ups as well. In addition, it also takes time to coordinate updates on 4 different platforms. Even if the next major update comes as late as June, that's still only 3 months to prepare all of that art. So basically, what he's saying, again, like I said, he makes some good points. If it took 208 days for them to get out the very first loading screens after the fashion show, and if this fashion show happens again at Battle Hour, it would be kind of crazy to expect them to have these loading screens ready that fast since it took so long before. Now, I will say, maybe since it's the second time around that they are actually doing this, maybe they could actually do it a bit faster. Maybe they know what they're doing a little bit better or something along those lines. Because, you know, when you do something for the first time, anything in life, the first time is going to be most likely the most struggle that you have with doing whatever you're trying to attempt. It'll probably take you the longest time-wise overall as well. So maybe the second time around they'll be able to operate a little bit smoother on it. I don't know all the ins and outs, but again, that is the only thing that I could see as to why they could get it out quicker this time around as opposed to before, unless they just really had it ready before and did not release it to try and keep content going and dropping at separate times. Like I said, they've done before. They've bridged the gap between updates with adding in things here and there. Like when photo mode was added and initially announced, it wasn't added in with a DLC, it was added between DLC. Same with Canton City TV. So again, things like that could be another thing they're doing, but if that's not the case, it would be kind of unlikely to see these artworks in DLC 16. So let's keep going though. Once YouTube loads again, because it's being dumb. All right, compare this with the 7 months it took to add the art from the first Super Fashion contest, and you'll realize that there just is enough time to add the loading screens in the next DLC. I also highly doubt that Dimps would just finish making XV2 DLC then add the loading screens randomly after 7 months. Like I said, it would just be weird for that to be the last form of content. Because of this, it is fair to assume that that we'll be getting 1 to 2 more major updates after the release of the next DLC. You might think that the prizes will be added to a possible Xenoverse 3 instead, but that is also not possible. The official website states that the winners will receive loading screens in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, which either way would be stupid, because if these loading screens were meant for Xenoverse 3, it would be dumb to say that they were meant for Xenoverse 2 initially, or not even mention that it's for Xenoverse 3, because then a lot of people who have stopped playing Xenoverse 2 would actually come back to the game and try and make a dope loading screen to get into Xenoverse 3, knowing that they're going to buy that game and be back on it once it comes out, because a lot of people are waiting for that game if and when it does ever happen. So again, that just would not make sense and would be pretty stupid for multiple reasons. But continuing on with the video, he goes on to say, with all this in mind, I think it'll be a while before we see the end of XV2. Get this up kind of long. Okay, here's the chart showing the amount of time between notable dates. Pause if you want to read it. Now, basically right here, he just shows how long it took between, like, the first Super Fashion show ending for the winners to then be DM'd, all things like that. So the first Super Fashion show took 17 days to end, and 18 days after, we started having some winners DM'd. Then 8 days later, all the rest of the winners were DM'd as well. So then 64 days later, they were revealed at Battle Hour 2022 with the fashion contest, and then 208 days after that is when they actually got their loading screens. Now, as far as the second Super Fashion Show goes, it took 24 days for it to actually end. They gave us more time this time around to actually send in our submissions. The winners were starting to get picked on February 1st, which is 59 days later, and it still has not happened yet, obviously, at this moment in time. And if they were to be showcased at Battle Hour 2023 with the Super Fashion Show contest, that would be 31 days later after they were actually selected, and or potentially 33, because the last day of Battle Hour is on March 6th, so it could go down any day between there, again, if it is actually there. And then we don't know when the next loading screens would be added, but again, 208 days if you were to actually add that in. Oh, he actually mentions that right here. If you add in 208 days after March 6th, it's September 30th of 2023, which, like I said earlier, would probably be around September, October, which would most likely mean, I feel, at the very least, like we could see another update on this game. And like I said before, it would just be weird if this was the final form of content that we saw on the game, because this is not only content that is just loading screens, it's loading screens that only the winners actually can get themselves. So again, we could be seeing another update, unless, like I said before, the reason it took so long for the first loading screens to come out is because they were trying to release things in like release content sparingly, I guess you could say, and try and have gaps between the content and have something drop in between DLCs that some people could get excited for and potentially maybe get them back on the game. So that would be the only reason as to why maybe it took 208 days, but I do find that highly doubtful. Most likely it is because it took the artwork quite some time to do and then get approved by the higher ups at the same time. So let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comments. Do you think that DLC 16 is not going to be the last one after seeing this, or are you still hopeful that DLC 16 will be it and we potentially could get a Xenoverse 3 announcement sometime in the future? That's my hope personally, but again, after seeing this, it does look like we most likely will be getting at least another update, if not another DLC, on Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and shout out to homie Rechow as well. His YouTube will be linked down below, as well as with his Twitter, like I said earlier. Be sure to check them both out and definitely show them some love. But till next time, guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and as always, hope you have a good one. Peace, y'all.